PYTCH, we create experiences and deliver messages to people all over the world. And as part of that, we get to work with some amazing equipment. So in this series, I'm going to do box openings of all the new toys and equipment that turns up at PYTCH HQ. So I hope that I can share the joy of this new equipment with everyone on the web. So in this unboxing, we're going to look at the Panasonic RP60, which is a PTZ controller. Now we don't like using acronyms around here because they're confusing and esoteric and exclusive. So PTZ, what is that? Pan, tilt, zoom. It refers to the fact that these cameras can pan, and they can tilt, and they can zoom. And this particular device is the box that controls that. Chuck us a box, Laurie. Whee! Right, and today I'm using a cutlery knife to open the box. As with a lot of professional gear, the box it gets delivered in, not very interesting, but hopefully inside something much more interesting. Bit of plastic where the documents go. Thank you CVP who sold us this product. Great company, generally get stuff out to us really quick, and their pricing is sensible. Could be better, but it's sensible. Thank you guys. Okay, so inside here we have a manual. Now this one I will actually keep because this kind of gear does often need the manual to be read, because often there's a lot of complicated stuff around things like addressing or the way the control systems work. The manual there, and warranty card, and also the members service program. Inside the box itself, not a hugely inspiring bit of packaging here, but this is professional gear. It's not retail stuff where you'd expect to be packaged like an iPhone. Just gonna slide this out, being very careful not to damage it or scratch it. Also from recent experience, I'm trying to keep the boxes intact just in case we do need to send it back for servicing or anything. So let's put that to one side. Styrofoam, very effective. Not a fan environmentally though. Let's take that off. And now we have this sort of dust bag thing. I'm sure it has a name. But as you've probably seen from my videos, I tend not to know what the names of things are that aren't technical. Okay, here it is. Here's the device. Okay, instant feelings are nice and heavy, nothing rattly, and a good feel to it. Very metal on the outside of the case. That feels like quality gear. On the back here, we've got a 4-pin XLR 12 volt power supply input. That's the one that's typically seen on broadcast cameras. So it's good to see when suppliers are using standardized power connectors, because it is a nightmare having 10 different types of batteries and power supplies. There is no power supply in the box, but from Panasonic, I wouldn't necessarily expect them to do that, because most users of Panasonic gear are probably going to have their own preferred power supplies anyway. Also, you might already have one, so why pay for it twice? We've also got the RS422 connections on the back. So they look like an Ethernet port. In fact, I think they are an RJ45, but they're going to go directly to the cameras, not down IP infrastructure. You have also got a LAN port here as well, which would go through your network. So don't confuse the two. It's unlikely you'd blow anything up by plugging the wrong thing into the wrong connector, but it's generally not a good idea to mix up different signal types on the same connector. So we've also got a Tally and GPIO connector. I don't know what GPIO is, so that is for late night Wikipedia reading tonight, but I do know what Tally is. Tally is where the cameras you're using have a light on the top that tells the presenter which camera is on. So if I'm presenting and I've got a green camera and a red camera, I know which one I should be looking at to make eye contact with my audience. On the front of the controller, I've never used one of these before, so I'm kind of just guessing here as to what I think things are. That's obviously a joystick, so that's going to be your pan and your tilt. That's a zoom there. That's the iris, which if you're a camera person, you know is the bit of metal inside a camera that lets more light in or less light in, and also has an impact on what the focal depth is of the lens. We've also got camera selection, so 5 buttons here, so presumably it can control 5 cameras, and it has 5 plugs at the back as well. Then we've got preset memory selection. Now I'm going to assume that what that means is I can hit one of those buttons and it's going to recall the camera to a certain pan, tilt, zoom, and iris position in order to flick between different scenes. Now that's amazing because in normal times you'd have a separate person on each camera, which is a very, very high load in terms of labor costs and show complexity. If I can go to camera 1 and recall position 3, bang, done, fantastic. We've also got these function knobs here. I'm going to guess that they're probably something to do with grading or contrast or brightness or color. We'll find out later. And then we've also got user buttons and camera OSD, that'll be camera on-screen display, and enable, which I assume is for the pan tilt joystick, and Ptz Speed. Now that's important because if you're doing something like maybe a dance gig, for example, and you want to move a camera quite fast across a dance floor and the shot's part of the feel to the shoot, you might want it to be really fast. If, however, you're doing a very slow pan across for example, a choir or an orchestra, you're gonna want it slow. So I'd knock that right down for some shows, pan really slowly, and maybe go a lot faster for other ones. There's also this screen on here. I don't know what that's for. I'm really hoping it's gonna give me another preview monitor. Of course, we'd normally have a proper reference grade preview monitor for our gallery, but it would be very useful if that does the same thing. If it doesn't, I'm gonna assume that's probably more likely the sort of technical details of the camera and the settings. So overall, great bit of gear, nice and compact. It's Panasonic gear, so it's gonna be good. And we're gonna use this with our Panasonic PTZ camera ecosystem in order to help our clients deliver their messages in a more efficient, faster, flexible, and hopefully better value way as well.